The World Cup just ran into another major problem, and this time it's coming from Germany. Germany has said that their national team is open to pulling out of the World Cup entirely if an invasion of Greenland happens. And here's where it gets even more interesting, because as a response to Germany, England has also said they too will pull out of the World Cup if they need to. But it gets even bigger because countries such as Spain, Norway, and the Netherlands have also said they too will pull out of the World Cup along with Germany and England. And if you're not really familiar with European football, England is one of the least liked football federations and teams in all of Europe because they're really obnoxious. So to get other countries to agree with England and do the same thing, kind of a big deal. And it's all because of the same person causing all these problems. And if you think that just because he said, nah, I'm not going to do it, that there's not going to be any risk of invasion between now and the World Cup, come on. Let's be real. Seriously, come on. World Cup ran into another major issue. I need you to stop and listen up. This is a warning to the world. Do not go to the USA for the World Cup under any circumstances. If you're going, cancel it. There's things that I want to say, but I'm going to use the World Cup as an avenue to do it because otherwise you won't be seeing this video. Since New Year's Eve, you have had Keith Porter, Renee Good, Alex Preti, 3 US citizens who have lost their lives at the hands of immigration enforcement. But that's not all, because you've also had 2 Venezuelan migrants within the last 30 days who have been shot. One of those actually was shot the day after they killed Renee Nicole Good. But wait, there's more, because at least 6 people have also died within January alone that were in immigration detention. One of those was a Cuban immigrant who actually ended up getting ruled a homicide because an agent had his knee on his neck until he stopped breathing. But I am still not done. There's more. They're arresting children now. Yes, there was a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old was actually used as human bait to bring out his father, who was also arrested. As of the start of January, there were 64,000 people in immigration detention, 43% of which do not have any sort of criminal charge or conviction. The same agents that I am talking to you, their actions, they are also scheduled to be security at the World Cup. Yes, they are supposed to be in charge of your safety, and they're arresting and killing everybody at the same time. I promise you with full certainty that at the World Cup, there will be people who enter the United States and will not be able to go back home after, because they will be either locked up or dead. They were going to have immigration enforcement at the Club World Cup games checking people's immigration status while at the games. It wasn't until the very last minute, when they decided to pull it back because of so much pressure from around the world, that they did not do that. The difference now is that they don't care. They will act first and ask questions later, assuming they even ask questions. You are not safe as a visitor to the United States. You aren't. And I'm asking you, all of you from around the world, to please speak up to your local country's football federation and tell them, do not go to the World Cup in the United States. The World Cup just ran into another major issue because it's being reported that over the weekend, over 16,000 people just canceled their World Cup tickets. Except that's not true, because you literally can't. FIFA doesn't allow it. All sales are final. People can resell tickets, but you can't just cancel them because you don't want to go anymore. It doesn't work like that. There are a few instances where you can get a refund and the game can get canceled, and that way, you'll get your tickets canceled that way. But just because you don't want to go doesn't work like that. FIFA's going to get their money one way or another. There is a growing sentiment and a discussion to boycott the World Cup, but that's nothing new because that also happened in 2022 with the Qatar World Cup. With that being said, if you are planning to travel to the 2026 World Cup, plan to go to Canada or Mexico. The environment, the vibes are going to be a lot better. Avoid the United States altogether, because as much as this sounds like crazy, this is the way that it is. You can get arrested for simply being a foreigner. Like that's the situation. So yeah, do with that information what you will. The World Cup just ran into another major problem. Check it out. Senegal and Ivory Coast have just joined a very unique list, as they are 2 new teams that have been banned from traveling to one of the host countries of the 2026 World Cup. They now joined Haiti and Iran as the 4 countries that are banned from the 2026 World Cup. That makes 8% of the teams that are participating in this tournament currently banned from entering the main host. This is the third time this year I've had to make a video exactly like this about other countries because countries keep getting added to this stupid list. And I've gotten the same 3 responses over and over again about this. Soccer sucks, nobody cares, and it's for our own safety. What's the point of even hosting the World Cup if you don't like the world and you're afraid of the world? Like, if safety is such a concern for you, you should not even be a host. If you're from Senegal, Ivory Coast, Haiti, Iran, or really any other country in the world, if you want to have a good time at the World Cup and really enjoy it, go to Canada or Mexico. Those places, you will be welcomed. The amount of mental gymnastics these people are doing so that they don't lose the World Cup is insane. Yesterday, I brought up the prospect of banning the United States from the World Cup because of everything that's happened. I'm going to put all the responses that I got from some people here, and notice there's a common theme. Let me know if you know what that common theme is in the comments. Most of these things never even mentioned the World Cup, other than telling me that they don't care about the World Cup or that they don't really care about the sport at all. But the fact of the matter is that the largest sporting tournament in the world is going to happen in 6 months. And right now we have one of the hosts going and actively attacking other countries. Many people from around the world have already said they do not want to go to the USA for the World Cup, which is unheard of for people saying, I don't want to go to the World Cup. Besides the fact that they don't even know if they can get into the country and all the pricing with the tickets and all that, it's also they don't feel safe. That's what I've heard for the past year. And I don't blame them. I mean, I've been telling people for the past year, if you want to go to the World Cup, go find a city in Canada, go to one of the host cities in Mexico. There's going to be a lot more welcoming there. There's going to be a lot more celebration of the sport. Meanwhile, we have one of the hosts actively threatening Colombia, actively threatening Mexico, both of which are participants in the 2026 World Cup, along with threatening the invasion of one of the territories of the sovereign kingdom of Denmark, which we'll find out in March if Denmark is going to be part of the 2026 World Cup. Today's barely January 4th, so we're not even a full week into 2026. And I'm already starting to have my concerns that we may not even make it to the 2026 World Cup. If things keep going the way that they're going, I wouldn't put it past other footballing federations to completely pull out and boycott this World Cup or make it to where it has to be postponed or rescheduled for another year. There's going to be a European who dies at the 2026 World Cup, so please listen to this warning, especially if you're European. If you haven't heard, European pickpocketers that they're famous for over there, they want to come to the World Cup in the United States, Canada, and Mexico and try to do that here. I'm going to tell you right now, don't come and do that. It's not worth it. You will lose your life. I'm not exaggerating either. There's a reason pickpocketing is not very prevalent on this side of the world, especially in the United States. People here are very territorial about their space and their belongings, and if either one of those things gets violated, chances are you're going to find someone who is packing, if you know what I mean. Especially if you're going to be trying that in places like Houston, Texas, or Inglewood, California. Not a good idea. People here get for a lot less than just pickpocketing, and trust me, people will respond with lethal force, because here self-defense is legal. If you try to pickpocket 10 people here, at least 4 of them at a minimum will have some sort of weapon that they will respond with lethal force and call it self-defense, and they will respond in a way where you will not be able to say anything about you self-defending yourself because you won't be around to say it. To any European pickpocketer who's thinking about coming to the 2026 World Cup and trying to pickpocket, you may want to rethink that plan, because if you do that and try it here, the chances of you being able to return back to Europe after the tournament are very, very small. You've been warned.